Burkina Faso has just grabbed the reins of a powerful regional body defying the greedy hands of France and its allies. Yes, you heard that right. On October 6th, Burkina Faso's Dr. Aboubacar Nakanabo, a sharp-minded economist, was named president of the UEMOA Council of Ministers, a group tying 8 West African countries together. Never heard of UEMOA? Don't worry. It's the West African Economic and Monetary Union, a club meant to boost trade and growth, but often feels like a French leash on our necks, controlling our money and markets. This win is massive because Côte d'Ivoire's Alassane Ouattara, backed by France's Emmanuel Macron, tried to block us, desperate to keep Burkina from leading. They failed, led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré alongside Mali and Niger's bold leaders. This isn't just a chair, it's a battle cry against modern-day colonialism. But truth be told, Burkina doesn't belong in this French-controlled UEMOA. Traoré's pushing for freedom, and I'm here to break it all down, simple, fierce, and straight from the soul. So even if you're new to this fight, you'll feel the fire and flow with us. Let's set the scene. Back in July 2025 in Lomé, Togo, the UEMOA summit turned ugly. Ouattara, Côte d'Ivoire's president with deep French ties, blocked Burkina's turn to lead the Council of Ministers, a role that rotates among 8 nations. Benin, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Niger, Senegal and Togo. Why? France, through Ouattara, saw Burkina's Captain Traoré as trouble, a leader kicking out their troops, taking back gold mines and rejecting their control. Traoré, Mali's Assimi Goïta, and Niger's Abdourahmane Tiani, united as the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, didn't beg. They walked out, calling it a denial of sovereignty. Social media exploded. Ex-posts from Ouaga to Bamako screamed, "No more French puppets!" Now, Nakanabo's rise to the presidency is our victory, a slap to Ouattara and proof that Africa's waking up. So, what's UEMOA? Think of it as a club where 8 West African countries share a currency, the CFA franc, and try to trade freely, set common taxes and grow together. Formed in 1994, it's got a conference of heads of state for big ideas, a council of ministers, Nakanabo's new seat, for economic plans, a commission in Ouagadougou to carry them out, and the BCEAO Bank in Dakar printing the money. There's a court of justice for fights, a regional accounting court to check spending, and the BAD Bank in Lomé, loaning $6 billion since 1973 for roads, ports and dams. Sounds great, right? Like a team for West African prosperity. But here's the catch. It's a French trap. The CFA franc ties us to France's euro, keeping inflation low, 2 to 3%, and intra-regional trade is okay, about 15%, so Senegal's fish can reach Burkina's markets. The 1994 devaluation boosted exports like Côte d'Ivoire's cocoa or Mali's cotton. But this unity mostly benefits France and coastal elites. We export raw goods, gold, uranium, oil to Europe cheap, then buy their cars and clothes at crazy prices. Growth? Weak at 3 to 4%, half Africa's average. 9 of 14 CFA countries are among the world's poorest. Niger ranks 189th in human development, Burkina 184th, Mali 186th. Kids go hungry, schools are empty, clinics have no medicine. Why? UEMOA's rules block us from controlling our own money to create jobs or fight crises like jihadist attacks. French firms like Bolloré and Total Energies rake in billions through Abidjan's ports, while the Sahel gets crumbs. Now the real villain, the CFA franc, a colonial chain since 1945. Back then, France created it as Colonies Françaises d'Afrique to milk our economies after World War II. Now it's Communauté Financière Africaine, but it's still a noose, tied to the euro at 655.957 CFA. They call it stable, but it's stable for France. We must keep 50% of our reserves, $500 billion since 1960, in France's treasury, says economist Kako Nobukpo. France prints our money in Chamalières, controls BCEAO's board, and lets firms like Arriva and Total Energies mine Niger's uranium, 7% of global supply, and Mali's gold, Africa's third largest, for pennies. Our youth, Jobless, 40% in Niamey, 35% in Bamako. Growth lags at 3%, while non-CFA neighbours hit 6 to 7%. We can't devalue to boost exports like Ghana does, or print money to rebuild after jihadist attacks. France grabs €4 billion yearly in profits, dividends tax-free, while we beg for €1 billion in aid with strings. The CFA funds Paris's shiny streets, not Ouaga's hospitals. 9 CFA states rank lowest in health, education, life expectancy. This isn't money. It's a vampire sucking our wealth to build France while we starve. This is modern-day colonialism, plain and simple. Every CFA note you hold is a French IOU, chaining our riches to their greed. When Guinea's Sékou Touré broke free in 1958, France burned his crops. Mali's Modibo Keïta tried a national franc in 1962. CFA neighbours, pushed by Paris, crushed him with sanctions. The system's built to keep us down, ensuring 9 CFA states stay the world's poorest, while France's lights glow with our gold. But the ancestors are cheering. Captain Traoré, Sankara's true heir, is done bowing, kicking out French troops, seizing mines, preaching freedom. Mali's Goïta and Niger's Tiani stand with him, forming the AES in 2023, rejecting Akaiwa's weakness and UMO's chains. No more fake fixes like Macron's 2019 reform. New name, same leash. They're building a Sahel currency, maybe Sira, backed by Burkina's 70 tons of gold yearly, Niger's 90,000 tons of uranium, Mali's cotton and phosphates. No euro, no French vaults. How? Leave BCEAO, pool reserves, AES trades up 20% since 2024, start a confederal bank by 2026. Economist Modibo Makalou says it's possible. Phase out CFA in 2 years. Use resource royalties for $10 billion in reserves. Impact? Huge. Devalue to boost exports 30%. Fund farms, solar plants, railways. Intra-AES trade could hit 40%. Swapping French wheat for Sahel millet. GDP per capita from $800 to $1,600 in a decade, lifting millions. This currency wouldn't just stand, it'd rule, outshining Nigeria's Naira as West Africa's strongest. The West is terrified. This is their worst fear. AES's rebellion, quitting ECOWAS January 29th, 2025, linking with Russia and China, raising that tricolour flag, forced their hand. Ouattara's blockade on Nakanabo fell apart. Paris blinked, knowing an AES exit from UEMOA would cut their $200 billion resource flow, 80% of France's uranium, 20% of its cotton. They gave in because Traoré's not bluffing. But imagine all UEMOA rising, Senegal, Benin, Togo joining the AES fire. We'd hold 30% of West Africa's GDP, $250 billion in trade. France would choke. Their economy needs our uranium for reactors, our cotton for clothes. Ditch the CFA and Paris's lights go out, their factories stall. Macron would beg at Traoré's door for a pinch of Niger's yellow cake. Burkina leading UEMOA is our secret weapon. Nakanabo, under Traoré's orders, will talk resilience, but push sovereignty. More local farms, less French bananas, more Sahel banks, less Parisian vetoes. He'll guide the 8 nations' finances, but slip in the AES dream, challenge the CFA, rush that Sahel currency. Traoré's blunt. Burkina's not staying in this colonial mess. By 2026, Sira could shine in Ouaga's markets. If UEMOA's 7 others join, we'd be giants. West Africa's powerhouse, Africa's spearhead. France would kneel, their France-Afrique empire dust. This is their terror. A united Sahel, a united a united Africa. We fuel their greed, our gold, oil, sweat. Before we continue any further, I would like us to listen to this speech from Captain Ibrahim Traoré, which he made yesterday.
Comrades, good morning. I hope everyone woke up very well. We are starting the last quarter of 2025. This is the place for me to pay tribute to our forces of defense who continue to fight on all fronts so that Burkina Faso remains standing and holding. This is also the place for me to congratulate you for all the work you have done throughout the year so far, for your resilience, for your dedication, for your hard work. I encourage you to continue in this way so that our country can shine throughout Africa, throughout the world. This morning, I would like to entertain you on three main topics. The first topic is about the escroquerie. The second topic is about Faso Mebo, the initiative that we launched. And finally, about the WACOs. On the subject of the escroquerie, I would like to draw everyone's attention to a phenomenon that has persisted for several years. It is about individuals who wander through the country, often with economic operators, often even with certain people who come to invest in Burkina. Their goal is to be able to escroquer them, making it clear to some that in order to have markets at the state level, they had to pay certain sums. Some people come to invest in Burkina Faso and find themselves escroquans by the same facts. Others also walk around, making it clear to Burkinabés that they want to have audiences, and that they are escroquans, that they have to pay money to have audiences, either in the presidency or even in certain ministries. So I would like to draw the attention of one and the other. As we say, we are in a revolution, and these are things that no longer exist in Burkina Faso. Everyone must understand that in order to have a market, you have to put yourself in the rules, work in good shape to have your market. It is not a question of paying 5 francs to anyone to be able to have a market. These are old political practices, but you see, they have remained anchored in the genes of some, and they are being escroquans. As a result of the course, they tire our police and gendarmes in investigations permanently to find these individuals who are escroquans. For those who come to invest in Burkina Faso or whatever, it is the same thing. To have an audience in the presence of a particular institution, I think there are several entrances. We have the council's office there. We have the Office of Large Projects. We have the protocol services. If you need to invest or need special information, you can address people. So it is to remind everyone that these are practices that are banned today and to attract the attention of people so that they are no longer escroquans. The second subject is about Faso Mebo, which since its launch has had a particular momentum, has managed to federate energies, to bring people together. Thank God this is all we want, that people can unite and build our country. Many people, both inside and outside Burkina Faso, and also Burkina Faso's friends, wanted to contribute to Faso Mebo. But they had difficulties because until now, Faso Mebo only takes things in nature. So I asked for a work on the treasure, which is currently finished. It is important for us to create a treasure for each region, a number of accounts so that people, wherever they are, can contribute to their region. This is the platform Faso RZK, where we have created windows so that each region can have a particular window so that people can contribute. It will be done in a very transparent way, so that if people want it, every month we must be able to print the list of all those who have contributed with the amount, whether they are Burkina Faso or outside Burkina Faso. For someone who wants to contribute so that his region can have infrastructure, can embellish to help Faso Mebo in its momentum, we can do it now. I will order the launch of this operation right now. You are all invited to contribute in your different regions. Even if your regions have not yet received their brigades, it is on its way, it is coming. But the work that can already be done must begin. Each and every one of you can contribute to embellish your region or to contribute to the construction of infrastructures. Let's remember that no one will come to build our country for us. It starts with us, and I think that everyone can do something. The third topic concerns IACO, the African Communications Universities, which have just closed this week, an event that can go unnoticed, but of great importance. We spend time making people understand that communication is a very important and strategic lever, especially in times of war. It is through communication that imperialists have always destroyed Africa. All these wars, these divisions, these hatreds on the continent, from slavery to the present day, it is through communication first. And it continues with the neo-colonialism that is seen today. Through communication, they always try to put us against each other. Thank God today, through our wainas, through our burses, they have managed to reverse the trend, to deconstruct all the lies of imperialism. We pay tribute to them for this, whatever it takes to continue to frame this communication. It was necessary because, you see, they put a lot of money into their communication. But on top of all this, they use us to finance this communication against us. You can't understand that the victim herself gives the gun to her worker to kill her, because by making the budgetary arbitration in 2024, I realized something very serious. And it happens in almost all African countries, especially in French-speaking countries. You can imagine that in all our institutions, all our ministries, there were budgetary lines reserved only for these media. By making the arbitration, I discovered that in each ministry, in each institution, there is a budgetary line dedicated to this. So a systematic transfer to media such as Young Africa, Le Monde, and so on. And they send us their newspapers, so whether we want it or not, whether we want to read it or not, our budget was transferred to these media. And they often write to destroy us, and it happens in almost all African countries, especially in French-speaking countries. Even better, they found a strategy to find companies in our countries, generally state companies, which are really financed to be shareholders of their media. And you know that a media does not necessarily produce something. So if you are a shareholder, very often you are led to inject money to allow the operation of the thing, because you do not expect a benefit. And here too, we just discovered it not long ago, with the new general director who arrived in a company. It turned out that the company in Burkina Faso is a shareholder of these media. And at the board of directors, it was a matter of transferring money. And this is what usually happens. So he took care to realize, to understand. And we said to stop it automatically and get out of their capital. Certainly they will not be able to reimburse us what they owe us, but we will not continue to pay them money every year. In Burkina Faso, for example, it was the LONAB that they had targeted. And it was the LONAB that was a shareholder at the level of a media like Jeune Afrique. So it goes without saying that these media are fundamentally against us. They will never be able to speak well of us, and we will not allow ourselves to continue to feed them. And this happens in many countries, and it would be good if all African countries would wake up and stop this. They go through several ways, by blackmailing states, heads of state, economic operators, who pay money every month or every year so that they speak well of them. We must return to a better feeling, if I may say so. Africans must understand that these people, they do everything through communication to destroy us. And at some point, we have to say stop and take the reins ourselves. This is why I have repeatedly called on the communicators, the media men, so that we communicate for our country. This is the best thing. Just look at the conflict in Africa. Look at the disaster it has caused. We must understand that communication is a formidable weapon. It is dangerous for us when they communicate, but it has their advantage when they communicate against us. So there is a choice to make. There is no one who can take the floor. And as soon as you take the floor to speak, there is no impartiality. You take sides. So when we say today journalists or communicators, you cannot be impartial. People have to choose whether they are for the country or against the country. This is a very important event, And we are creating structures or events where people will be able to communicate, to continue to communicate, to raise awareness of youth, to wake up Africans so that we can regain our fundamental values and focus on uniting and working for our country. So I invite everyone, wherever we are, no matter the situation, if we have to communicate, we have to be very careful. And if we come to listen to the communication of certain media, we have to know how to do things. Because it is an important weapon. They can change your way of seeing things. They can turn you against each other through communication. So on this, I wish you a lot of courage for the quarter that is about to begin, which is the last one. And above all, to put the plug double so that the budget for the year 2026, which will be prepared during this quarter, can be a budget that allows us to invest in an optimal way for our country. Thank you all very much. I wish you a very good week, and may God protect our dear country. The country or death we will win.
Africa, the drumbeat of freedom grows louder. Burkina Faso's triumph in UEMOA is a spark, igniting a future where our nations stand tall, unshackled from French dominion. With leaders like Traoré, we're not just dreaming of a sovereign Sahel currency, we're building it brick by brick, with our gold, uranium and unyielding spirit. This is our moment to unite, from Dakar to Niamey, and forge an Africa that bows to no one. Let Nakanabo's leadership be the crack in the colonial dam, flooding our lands with prosperity and pride. The West watches trembling as we rise. Let's seize this chance, hold fast to our roots, and make the motherland a beacon of power and hope.